have three orders on tonight. The first is a resolution that the City Council of the City of Worcester does hereby support federal law and does not join the other communities in declaring themselves sanctuary cities. The ambiguity surrounding Worcester's positions as sanctuary city is to be cleared once and for all by Councillor Gaffney. Then we have request the city manager report on the City Council concerning the total amount of federal funding received by the City of Worcester in the past fiscal year and list the specific amounts. I think that's the wrong one. And types of federal funding. Request the city manager report on the City Council concerning how Worcester would replace lost federal funding due to a sanctuary status without raising taxes. Okay. I'm sorry, it's the next one. Request city manager provide City Council recommendations establishing a policy cooperating with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement regarding requests detainees to our police department to hold non-citizens who have been arrested for commissions of a crime so that the federal officials can take them into custody. This policy will not apply to refugees, asylum, and seekers of visa holders, but only those undocumented immigrants who have been arrested for a crime. Some of these have been answered tonight. So we have 10K and L and 11A. Councilor Gaffney.
First off, I want to say thank you to the many people that showed up tonight, respecting our democracy and stand for our democracy. I really appreciate your professionalism. Unfortunately, someone is on Twitter is threatening to bury my body in a pit or something here. So I appreciate everybody else that came up tonight and was very polite and spoke well and eloquently. But I think we need a little clarification here because I know Mayor Petty had just read what's on the agenda. I'm getting, after 2.5 hours, I'm getting the feeling that for some reason, maybe not everybody actually read the full resolution. So you're going to have to forgive me. I scribbled this out, back at the house. And here's how the resolution starts off. And I think from everything I've heard from everybody today, we're in full agreement. The first paragraph is, whereas the City of Worcester will always be welcoming of new immigrants and refugees to our city, but only those that follow our laws. Now, I heard a substantial amount of discussion tonight, particularly about immigrants and refugees, that we weren't welcoming. It's the opening paragraph of the resolution. But maybe people didn't get the packet in the back of the resolution. People didn't know that, because I heard a lot of professors, a lot of people from universities and other organizations speak as if they weren't aware that was on there. I also had the pleasure of hearing Gordon Hargrove of Friendly House say, quote, "If we help you, you must obey our laws." And I agree. That's the first paragraph of the order. We also get into the second part, whereas violating federal law, which was read by Mayor Petty, may bring financial repercussions that would harm our lawful residents, both immigrant, native-born, in particular, the neediest and most vulnerable among us. That's what the resolution reads. The concern here is losing any funds. Let's be real about that. We can't afford to lose any funds in this city. We scrape together tens of thousands of dollars to accomplish it. We get in long battles over just a few $100,000 from City Council. That being said, now therefore, it be resolved that City Council of the City of Worcester does hereby support federal law, and I'm going to stop there for a moment, because what I just heard from both the chief and from the city manager, that we do not handle ourselves differently from any other city or town. I heard that we're not the IRS, that we don't have jurisdiction to enforce federal law. The key word here isn't enforce. The resolution again reads that City Council of the City of Worcester hereby supports federal law. Nobody said anything about rounding people up, and that's a ridiculous fear-mongering statement I've ever made. But it was put out there, and I think people reacted to it, unfortunately. I did hear on the radio, on the Jordan Levy program last night, it was said that we were going to be gathering people up like Nazi Germany. And to his credit, former Mayor Jordan Levy cut that whole discussion off, and I appreciate that from him. But I also heard that we do. It's right here, actually, in a handout received from the Chief of Police here, Department of Police. We do cooperate with our law enforcement partners at all levels. Well, for crying out loud. Isn't that exactly what's in this resolution? That we support federal law? And we do not join other communities in declaring themselves sanctuary cities. Now, let me stop there. Because there's a lot of talk initially concerning this matter, whether Worcester should be declared a sanctuary city. And you know, it was actually an article that Clyde McFarland had written saying, you know what, Mayor Petty has to stand, I think, loud and proud, I don't know, and say that we are a sanctuary city. But the fact of the matter is, what occurred not only on Jordan Levy last night, but also what has been repeated with the Worcester magazine, is that there's no such thing as sanctuary cities. Now, I didn't say that, Mayor. That was actually, a quote from you, sir. That indicates there's no such thing as sanctuary cities. Although I've been lectured by Tom Quinn of Worcester Magazine that I should Google more often, so I did. And you know what? I can actually find a map of sanctuary cities. So there is such a thing as sanctuary cities, but clearly we're not one because our mayor's already said that they don't exist. So moving on. And the ambiguity surrounding Worcester's position as a sanctuary city is to be cleared once and for all. Well, I guess the effort here is not to clarify anything. The effort here is to engage in, political banter, rile the people up, instill them with fear over things that aren't actually in a resolution about the resolution, and really to adopt a policy of don't ask, don't tell. That's what we're doing at this point, instead of actually clarifying our position. And we can file it, or I think it was we're going to defeat Councillor Gaffney's order is what I heard. It's not an order, by the way, it's a resolution. But I heard that already, so we're going to defeat it. That's fine. But that doesn't clarify anything for anybody. In fact, actually, what I know from reading this resolution, and what my supporters know, is that number one, we're not a sanctuary city because they don't exist. Number two, we actually do support federal law because I just heard that. And number three, that we will always be welcome of new immigrants and refugees to our city. In short, we've already adopted this resolution here tonight. We adopted it before I actually walked into the room tonight and listened to some of the wonderful speeches from the many people that spoke this evening. Finally, there was some, I should say, discussion had about, for the last 2.5 hours about all kinds of things about immigrants and about, refugees, and we got into racism and everything else and every other ism, and that's very unfortunate because I really think at some point someone should have reined this in, not or organized a protest at their own city hall for purposes of political posturing. And that's what this became. And it's unfortunate because if anybody had read this resolution ahead of time, I don't think a lot of people would have been here. And I also don't think a lot of people would have been happy to find out that the one thing that they really wanted to accomplish was to have a sanctuary city here in Worcester. We heard that from a few people. And guess what? Mayor Petty indicated to the Worcester magazine, as well on Jordan Levy last night, that there's no such thing. Another thing that was actually indicated on Jordan Levy last night is that, I heard initially on Friday, and a doubling down after that, no, it was Thursday, and then doubling down on Friday, that we don't follow federal law. But last night on Jordan Levy's program, I heard that we actually do. We follow federal and state rules. Well, what is it? Either we don't follow federal law, which was the argument as though we're marching out there to say I'm behind you, or we do. And what I heard from the chief and what I heard from the manager is that we do follow federal law, that we do handle ourselves no differently from any other city or town. And I also hear, last night that, from the mayor, that we follow federal and state rules. So which is it? That's the problem we have here. A lot of...
Okay, can you wrap up your comments?
A lot of unfortunate statements were made.
Okay. Please stop.
This is what you brought, Mayor Petty. Thank you.
Proud of it. Okay, Councillor Lukes.
No.
Councillor Lukes to the chair, please.
I didn't agree with several things I heard, but I didn't boo anybody. And let's listen. Clearly, the subject that is filed here is not what was discussed by